How do you stay organized during your call blocks? I want to share with you two old school tactics that have worked really well for me. Stay tuned. I think you're going to get a ton of value out of them. Hey, thanks for tuning in. This is Micah Salas with the Max Revenue Show. Let's get into this, folks. All right, so you're making cold calls, right? You're sitting there. I'm a big believer in kind of eliminating distractions for the most part. You can have your computer up if you want. So, someone comes on the line, you can kind of do some research if you're talking to them. I don't care. I'm not that hardcore about it. But there's two things that I really like to do that have improved my efficiency. Now, I've shared in previous videos about a tech stack and using like a phone burner or power dial to really stay on course. Right now, if you don't want to invest in that, it's not necessary. Here's what really helps me. It's going to seem pretty crazy here. A list, right? So before the day gets started, I have my Excel list. I print that list off. Business name, guys, contact's name, number. Boom, I just go right down that list. I make checks, tallies next to how many times I've called them. Enter it into my CRM if I think it makes sense, right? These are just cold leads. So I don't enter every cold lead into my CRM. I'm not wasting time on that. Just the people I'm really talking to or want to keep pursuing. So that's the first thing. And then as I'm making calls, I take out a pen and paper on every call and I make little tallies. I think this is just critical for like staying on task and saying, hey, my goal is 50 calls today. I got to make 50 of these little tallies. And then you got to know your numbers, right? Max is a big believer in this. I'm a big believer in this. See this here? Right here. This is my literally every day. Calls, talk to, yeses. This was a bad day, I guess, right? 0 yeses. But 2 no's, 1 follow-up later, and then I keep a wrong person just so I can kind of know my numbers. Like, hey, I talked to 10, but 2 weren't even the right people, so I'm not going to lower my percentages on that. And it kind of cleans up my data a little bit. Anyways, that tally sheet, I was taught to that actually by my brother back when I graduated college in 2008, my first sales job. And I've used that. I just love it because you get done with that day and there's a couple of things. One is like you feel like you really accomplished something, but also it helps you celebrate and feel good about yourself if you've had no meetings set, right? Because sometimes that follow-up later list, that's got to be the fuel to your fire, right? You're like, man, my day sucked, but hey, I hit 3 warm leads. So that means next month could be really good. And then where we go from here, the warm leads. So what I do every time I get a warm lead, I keep a running list, master list, type it into Excel at the end of the day, just add it. Company name, the X date, and then potential revenue, I think it will be, and then what a note is, like follow up in June or whatever. Now I keep that running list for all opportunities that will hit this year, and then I keep one for next year. That is a game changer because it just keeps them in front of you, and it keeps you motivated. Like, man, I got 500,000 worth of follow up laters. Man, that gets you excited when you start thinking about those opportunities out there and the people that you can help and the people that you can work with. So I know these tips are old school, but man, these things won't go out of style anytime soon. They worked well for me. I think they'll work well for you. In fact, I know they will. Implement them. Hey, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, share with your friends, hit the bell so you don't miss future content that we're going to be sharing with y'all. Go get them.